Hey guys, Ginger here. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you guys my March wrap-up. March was an interesting month overall, and so I didn't actually read a whole lot, although I had intended to read a lot of books. I started a couple and I just didn't get into them. I did manage to read 3 books this month, which is better than nothing. I have a lot of reading plans for April. If you didn't already watch my TBR for the month, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, I guess without further ado, let's get into talking about the 3 books that I read. The first one that I read this month was for review, and that was Good Boy, My Life in 7 Dogs by Jennifer Finney Boylan. And this is a autobiography. Technically, it is a memoir written by Jennifer herself, and she talks about her journey as a transgender individual, while also talking about how each of the dogs in her life had affected her and taught her something. I love animal books, so when I received this for review, I was really excited to read it, and I flew through it in an afternoon. It was really well written. I really enjoyed seeing all of the perspectives with each of the dogs, and just seeing the growth and change that Jennifer went through. I didn't end up rating this on Goodreads because I really don't feel like rating someone's life is fair, but if I had to give this a rating, I would probably give it a 4-star. It was really well written, it was awesome, and it was a meaningful story, but it wasn't something that like spoke to me personally. There was a little disconnect just because I can't relate on the same level, but I did really appreciate this, and I'm glad that I read. I have the freaking hiccups. Whew. This was actually a really good reading month for me overall. I read that book and then 2 5-stars, which were actually the first and second 5-star of the year, so good for me. The second book I read was How to Walk Away by Catherine Center. This was a backlist book for me. I had planned on reading a whole bunch of backlist books this month. That just didn't happen, unfortunately, but I did manage to get to this one, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved it so much, and so this was Catherine Center's debut novel. I had received this for review in 2018, but unfortunately I did not get to it that year or month. So I ended up reading it in March this year, and again, I loved it, and I just am so glad that I read it. This follows our main character, Margaret, and she has forever had a fear of planes and flying, but she ends up with a pilot as her fiance, and one day he convinces her to go up with him in this plane, and when that happens, they end up getting in a crash, and Margaret is for life damaged. She has a lot of bad wounds, and she is paralyzed. So this is the story of her recovery and how she copes with it, and there's a little bit of romance in here as well, and just everything about it I really enjoyed, and I'm so glad that I read it and loved it. It was a really nice contemporary novel. It is hard-hitting, obviously, with that content matter, but it was also really inspiring, and I would highly recommend it if you like adult contemporary and if what I told you about the premise sounds good. And the last book I read this month was for the Bookie Trials Royal Weekender. It was my first time participating in the Bookie Trials, and I was so excited, and I ended up having such a good time and completing all of my badges with this one book that was a 5-star, and that was Missborne by Brandon Sanderson. And oh my goodness, I don't know why I've put this off for so long. I loved this. The world, the magic system, the characters, everything about it was just so good, and I really enjoyed the journey. I read this in less than 48 hours because it was a weekend readathon, and I at first didn't think I would be able to, but I did, so that was fun. And so this follows our main character, Vin, and she learns that she is a Missborne, and we kind of travel along with her journey in that, and also the problems surrounding the political system that is in this book, and that the fact that there are people that are oppressed and there are people that want to start a rebellion. So this is just a really awesome fantasy novel. It was the first in a trilogy. I really can't wait to continue on and read the second book. I just have a lot of high hopes for that, and it was just a really, really great book, and I'm glad that I read it. So this wrap up is very short, and I apologize, but I only had 3 books to talk about, so it's also very hard to review books that I really enjoyed because I don't really have a lot of bad things to say about them. Pretty much I'm just saying I liked these books and it was a good reading month. So to recap, these are the 3 books that I read, and despite the fact that I didn't read that many, I did read really good ones, so that kind of makes up for that fact, and I do hope to read a lot more in April and have a lot more to talk about in my wrap up. But for this March wrap up, unfortunately, we only have 3 to talk about, and so that's pretty much all I have for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below which you ended up reading in March, how many books you read, and if you participated in the Royal Weekender as well, I would love to hear about it. So thank you guys again. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!